Hey guys, so it's been a couple weeks at least, or if not more, where I did a video of unpacking this leg curl extension machine from FEIERDUN, or however you pronounce this name. So I had few issues when it comes to the machine, but it's not the machine's problem. It's the way that my gym is designed. And previously I was in the market with the bench. I'm sorry, for the bench with the attachment for legs. It can be, detachable or not. The problem is that most of the benches that I came across just did not work out well for me. And I've also done a video on this before from Cappy. So Cappy, it's a wonderful bench. Everything is very sturdy. However, like I said, their attachments, it's falling short because how these things are designed. Now, I've been working on a CNC for 20 years. I come across a lot of blueprints, deal with engineers, and I can tell you that most of the engineers are full of shit, just like experts. Some of the things some things make sense on paper, but they don't work well in real life. Let's just put it this way. This is not ideal kind of machine for me when it comes to my setup. When it comes to the machine itself, it's a different story. So luckily, I have my treadmill here, and my treadmill is foldable. So I can keep the machine here in the corner. As you see, my treadmill is here. I can fold it, so that way I can move the machine a little bit and I can do my workout. When I'm done with it, I can put it back in the corner, fold the machine down, and I'm good to go. But this machine, it's hard to move. It's got back wheels, but there's nothing to handle. A lot of weight of the machine is to the right, and like I showed you before, if you try to kind of lift it up, it just kind of falls to the side, right? So that's kind of my issue, but this is like literally the best I could have done. So if you have a lot of space, I would consider this piece of equipment. If you don't, then I don't know, it's like you'll have to figure out how you can squeeze this machine in. And if by any chance, you have a regular size door, there's 2 side screws. I had to remove this arm so I can bring this machine, or even let's say try to squeeze it in through the door, then put this back in, and then kind of put it here. So now let's kind of explain why most of the benches, and I've looked through the pictures, why they don't work. So I'm gonna move this machine a bit here. And it has to do with the position. So this technically, and I'll show you. So when I sit down, my legs are here. This pad actually goes back. So if you're gonna look at, let's say, when you're gonna consider your legs, and most of the machines in the gyms are that way, the pad is here. So the leverage kind of sits so the leverage you get from the legs, it starts from here, right? So you get you can go back all the way, get a good extension, get a good retract, and then extend your leg and put it back in. So all that weight sits over here. So the problem with these benches, when you pay attention, is that, for example, imagine this is that back bar. I have a bench here. So let me drop the camera a bit. And that way, like I said, you can look at those pictures and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So these leg extensions, right? Usually you have an attachment here. So you have that bar that holds the leg extension apparatus. Then you're gonna have your pads right here, but the pad, support your knees is right here. So you're technically, your knee pad is here, but the knee pad for your foot is all the way in the front. So when you're extending, you technically have nothing here to support because you have to push yourself forward. Now, the solution, you know, for that problem is if you have a bar here, then put tip pads that will support your, you know, legs in the front, but all of them put it in the back. That's why it doesn't work. These things don't really work. There was a brand that I had before, I think that was a Merax. That was an okay bench when it comes to the leg, because they actually put the pad inside of that bar, not, you know, not in the back. So inside, so you already had like about, I'll say 3-4 inches kind of forward adjustment support, so it actually kind of felt much better. But like I said, all of them, like, you know, when I kind of went through Amazon and I looked through all these benches are exactly designed the same way. So another good example is like, okay, if you do preacher curl, you know, and let's say normally your pad will be here, right? It's gonna support your elbow and you kind of, you know, curl from your elbow. Well, imagine if your pad was right here. Your arm is just kind of, you know, it's kind of, let's say, hanging up in the air. That way you actually put way more stress on your elbow because there's nothing to support it. It's exactly how these benches are usually done. I'm guessing one company copies the other without actually thinking, you know, why not copy the actual leg machine like something we have here. So I'm gonna turn the camera and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this is for the money. The design, like I said, it is a heavy machine. You know, like I said, for me, it's even a little bit uncomfortable to kind of move it around. But if you have enough room and you don't have to move it around, you're gonna be better off. However, like I said, for what it does, it's really good. Now, right now, this machine is kind of set up for leg curl. Sorry, for extension. The way you change, so you have technically, let me see, I'm gonna have to move the camera a couple times. So you have this arm right here. You pull it. Let me push the camera a little bit. Okay. So you adjust it here. That way you press it down. Or you go over here and you go up. Now, so normally, like this way, you know, you put on the plate, you can start working out, right? You can do your curls. And as you see, there's a small peg here. And this peg is a stopper, okay? So I'm gonna take the camera down again. I'm gonna show you how to convert it for leg curl. Okay, go down a little more. I apologize for being super duper unprofessional, making adjustments as I go. All right, so just deal with me. So let me see if I can. So see, there's this peg. And this peg technically stops the bar here. Well, if you're gonna try to do the extension, that bar is gonna go up that way, right? So there's a pin here. You gotta remove it. Pull this here. Put it back in. Okay. Now lock this in. Okay. Lock it in. And you're good to go. And then you take the upper bar, I mean this bar, and you kind of convert it. And now it's going from top to the bottom. Okay. So let's go back to our extension. We'll put some weight on. Flip here. It's you know, like first day, I was like kind of, okay, a little bit annoyed how this thing is kind of designed, but then it kind of makes sense. And if I can get a good workout, you know, spending 10-15 seconds on switching a pin, it's really not a big deal. And so what I like about this machine also, as you see, so let me see if I can get your side profile. So you have legs and your feet go here, right? This thing changes. This thing kind of swings to accommodate taller and shorter people, which is a good thing. So it will adjust to kind of to your legs. Like I said, over here, if you're trying to go all the way back, you go right here. And like I said, your legs are here. Your legs are gonna be way back there. So we're gonna move this and I'll do a demonstration. I'll try to kind of change the position of the machine. All right. Put a 35-pound plate. I have a light in the back, so let me change the position just in case it doesn't mess up with brightness. Okay, I can even maybe put it in the front. All right. All right, let me go up. All right, so this goes up and down. You can use it even for support if you go super heavy. And as you see, you wrap your legs in the back. Oh, one more thing. So the back pad that extended so I can go all the way back. And as you see, my legs are like this. If I want to go even deeper, just pull the pin, go as far back. The pad is in the correct position. Same thing as I worried because it's a single-sided bar, right? So it only holds on one side. If it's gonna be flimsy, if it's gonna move kind of under heavier weight, but like I've put 345s and I did not feel that the bar is bending or if there's actually any play. So it's been very, very solid. Like I'm actually very impressed with this machine. They did a pretty good job. Okay, so like I said, you can put your hands here, you can tighten it here. You have good grips. If you go very heavy to keep your body from coming up and up. As you see, I got a good extension and plenty of room and plenty of adjustment. So in my humble opinion, this machine will work for shorter people and taller people. Like I'm guessing 6'2", 6'3", not a problem. Okay, so this is a leg extension. Now let's do a leg curl. So we're gonna go up and you can make an adjustment that way. It gets a little bit trickier to kind of switch the weight from the leg extension to leg curl. Be aware that if you do have a weight on the weight peg, and you're gonna, let's say, and the weight is gonna be in the back, and you're gonna pull out that pin, it will swing. The weight will swing, so make sure you don't jam your finger or anything, or just remove the weight when you're changing the rotation side. Okay, that's the first time that happened. It's a very nice spring. This ring, like this locking ring, as you see. Man, it's under a heavy spring load. I gotta say that sometimes it's not easy to pop it. All right, so for me, I'll just pull this back. Now you gotta push it back there. Watch your fingers. And like I said, there's an easy way to do it, but I don't wanna remove the weight or anything, so. Okay, this thing is kinda in my way, so I can lift it up. Lock and low. I think that this machine comes with these springs to lock the weight. Use it, because I had I don't remember if it was on this machine, but I had a plates fell off before. Oh, that was from the Faggus. This fucking brand Faggus. That was from the Faggus bench. This thing was just like all over the place. Like I said, it's I don't know, it was a good leg workout, but it was just awkward and it was just very poorly built. And one of my problems, so like they actually solved the issue where, you know, you had a good leg position. The problem was that the front of the pad where you put the most pressure on, right, when you're doing like heavy extensions, it was so flimsy that if you take probably, you know, 2 palms and just bend it, you could probably crack the piece of wood that was just, you know, holding this thing together. So you would have to take some piece of metal stock, thin metal bar, probably put it underneath and just kind of, you know, beef up the bottom, which I didn't want to deal with. Like I said, it was just, for me, it didn't make sense. And like I said, I was like, when I was looking at it, you know, what I did not, it was my mistake because I looked for a higher bench and that bench was pretty high. You know, my concern was that sometimes when people buy these benches and they do like extension, you can hit the bottom with your foot, right? Because the bench is so low. So I was looking for something that's a little bit higher. And this thing was just way too high. So outside of legs, you couldn't use it for nothing. It was just like I said. And I found a buyer that was looking for just, you know, workout. For me, if I can buy an equipment and I can have multiple uses out of it, at least that's a benefit. Obviously out of this one, you really can't do much, but at least like I said, it's doing what it's promising to do. It's like I said, I was like kind of happy. So now, as you see, this will kind of pivot, okay, to where it's supposed to go. My back rest is a little bit too far, but anyway, it pivots. So my legs are right here. My knees are right at the end of the seat. You can lock it in and curl. There you go. And curl. Very good smooth. See, it's quiet. Like I said, it's sturdy. It's beefy. It's made out of good, heavy steel gauge. The finish is nice. If I had one concern, and this is a very common with most of the machines, if once I'm going to heavier weight, let me see. Once I'm going to the heavier weight, these pads, they will cut into your legs a little bit too much. They're firm, which is good, but they're not as forgiving as, for example, the pads that, you know, usually that came with Cappy. Like I actually use those pads to replace the pads, the foam pads from Faggus bench. So they get, like I said, a little bit uncomfortable, but not to the point where I couldn't deal with it. But I wish they were, I think, just a little bit softer, a little bit more giving. So technically that's it. Like I said, I mean, you know, if you have good space, like I said, and this is not a small machine, right? Like when you looked at the measurements, the size kind of, because of that side post, it takes a little bit of space, but if you have room in your gym, see what I'm saying is when you have that peg for the other side, yeah, this thing swings. So what I'm saying is you have space, you want a good leg workout that's gonna adjust itself to your body. You'll adjust whatever the angles you have. They're technically kind of thought about everything. I would say that the engineers did a pretty good way when it comes to designing this machine. I would definitely recommend it. And look, you don't have to particularly get this brand, right? Because there's when you kind of look at it, a lot of this equipment, like these companies either copy themselves or it's one factory. You got a bunch of brands just kind of buying these universal machines, and all they do is just kind of slap their names on the equipment. That's all they do. So if you see a machine that kind of looks like this one, even with a different name, and let's say if it's normally $250, $300, and then occasionally Amazon, has like a $50 coupon or bonus, yeah, I would definitely buy it. It is much better than any bench kind of add-on or even option, that I've had, and I had many of these benches. So far, like I said, this is the best leg kind of workout machine I've used. So, all right, guys, 22 minutes. I mean, like that's been plenty long, but I thank you for sticking with me through this video, and hope this video helps somebody out. All right, take care.